Hi, welcome to the Montana Volleyball Press Conference. We are joined today by head coach Allison Lawrence and freshman Sydney Pierce. Coach, we'll start with you. Obviously a big week with the rivals coming to town. You've got a winning streak going here. What's the key to keeping that going on Friday night?
You just you never know what's going to happen in Griz, and I think that's the best part of it. And it's one of the biggest days of our whole year. And so I think part of it is just managing, and I think I say this every year in this press conference, but just managing all the extra kind of could be distractions, but also could be tools in order to hone our focus in and like really focus in a finite way on the places that we want. So I think because we've been able to do that well, we've had success at home and really used momentum of being at home to like hit our details, to come in prepared and to not be sort of overrun by the extra emotions in this game. And that'll be the task in front of us for sure. And then I think it's just such a fun game that I always want our athletes to be present in it and to enjoy it. It's stressful in different ways, but it's also fun in different ways. And it's like why we wanted to come play at Montana, to be in this rivalry. I think that's a big part of it. So.
And Sydney from Billings, obviously growing up with the rivalry a little bit. What are your emotions like as you get ready for your first Griz Cat?
I'm really excited. I've always gotten the opportunity to watch it from the sidelines, so I'm super excited to be involved in it, and I know a lot of eyes are on this game and a lot of people pay attention to it, so I'm really looking forward to be involved with it.
Sydney, have you ever been to one of these games before, just as a fan? Have you watched it? I guess what experiences have you done really for volleyball or any sport with this rivalry?
Yeah, I've been to it twice, and I went to it in Bozeman and then in here last year, so I got to see the big sweep last year, which was super fun. So yeah, I've gotten to experience it kind of in both fan bases, and it's really it's a fun environment, both sides, so I'm really looking forward to that.
When you were kind of spectating and watching, knowing you were going to play in this rivalry, I guess what's the anticipation been like kind of leading up, knowing that you would finally get a chance to be a part of this someday?
Just so excited. A lot of people have told me how excited they are for this game, which makes me more excited and just makes me a lot hungrier knowing it's kind of that in-state rivalry. So.
Same question, Allison. I think we always ask you this question, but it's funny because it's like football, basketball programs, and volleyball have like the true rivalry matchup with this, right? Like not all the sports here have this.
Right.
So I mean, like, what does that mean to you? The kind of year in, year out, especially there's been a lot of success here for the Griz, like just to have that kind of conventional rival, for volleyball.
Yeah, for sure. I think that pressure is such a privilege, and I think of it that way every year because not all of our sports get to experience it, and I think other teams in our conference don't get to experience a rivalry of this magnitude always. And so especially just the landscape of college sports with realignments and things, I think old rivalries have disintegrated and changed, and ours hasn't, and it's one of the things I love most about working here. It also adds a layer of stress where there is that piece that's like, if you win one game, you know what I mean? It's like the thing that you go into the year sort of like with the little dart on that calendar day, you know what I mean? So I think there's part of you that's always preparing for this day, even, in January and February, those things. So I think that's part of it. I think that sharpens the edges around it in a way that you like fight to be at your best all year for this type of game. And so I love it. It's definitely like pressure filled to the max, but I think I think that's why we're all here. We want that. So it's great. I love it.
What does it say about the girls? You mentioned just kind of the focus, right? And kind of keeping them honed in on the task and kind of maybe, not let emotions take over. What does it say about the girls knowing that they've defended home court here the last several years, just, stepping up to the task there?
Yeah, I think it speaks so much to their maturity and their kind of trust in our preparation process. So they trust our scout, they know our scout, and that's the thing that's grounding us in the game when our focus could be pulled away by any number of things, including MSU playing really well. Which they are, and they're a very good team. And so they're going to do things that are going to cause our breakdowns, and then it's our maturity to sort of reset and bounce back within our scout. So I think it just says that, and it says just how wonderful of a place Dahlberg is to play in, and how supported we feel by our fan base and Griz Nation, and all the folks watching on ESPN. I just think that bolsters you and kind of like, what's the word? Like lets you stand proud while all those things are kind of swirling around.
After another road trip kind of in the books leading into this rivalry game, November is about to get here. Just kind of your overall big picture view of kind of where the team's at right now and what's to come.
Yeah. We're not in the place we want to be. I mean, that's for sure. I think like our frustration, not me separately from the team, I think all of us together is at a level where like this microphone could ignite right now. You know what I mean? Like it's real, and it's like right here. And I feel that from the team, and I feel that with the team. And so I think, even that being said, I think we are in a place together where we know that us breaking through and turning the page and having the success in the second half of the conference that we want, it requires all of us to move through that frustration together on the same page. And I feel that very much so with our team. And I think that frustration and that falling short in ways that have been disappointing is fueling our reactions and our responses in practice. And you never know when you're going to have your breakthroughs. And I think our group is patient enough and willing enough to go through that process together without fracturing. So we're ready, and we're working really hard to change our story this back half. But I'm really proud of who they've been through those struggles.
Coach, as far as Montana State goes, what do they do well? What are their strengths?
They have a lot of weapons in a lot of arms. So their middles are terminal, their middles are big. They've got an old right side, Jordan Camps, who is very physical, very high, has just been sort of a terminal player for them for years and years and years. And yeah, I think their offensive system is just very efficient and athletic. And so I think defensively we're going to have to show up in big ways. And then on the flip side of that, they've had I think Jordan and their middles block in ways that we are going to have to be prepared to score in lots of different ways. So yeah, I think their system is very solid, and it's up to us to, throughout scout during this week, find weaknesses and find ways for us to be productive against them, and then let the rivalry take its course. Whatever happens, happens. So,
Sydney, you said that you've been to both gyms for both the games. To you, what were some of the big differences between those two atmospheres?
Well, I think when I went to Bozeman, I think that was when they broke the Big Sky record. And so the energy in that gym was just insane. But the Griz, they still won, I'm pretty sure. And so it was like so much energy to nothing. And so that was kind of just interesting to be around as a Griz fan. And then here it's just, again, so much energy, and so many Griz fans really love volleyball and they come to support. And it's just such a fun environment. And it's so fun to see people, from the state, and just see people here to watch us win. And so that's exciting.
When you were deciding where to go to college, was Montana State one of your options, and what made you choose Montana?
They were an option. I just really loved it here a lot more than I liked it there, which is something that happens. And love the coaching staff here. They're just amazing people, and the team here is so welcoming and just so homey, and I love that. And they're some of my best friends already, so it's awesome. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, all. Thanks.
thank you. And those Colleen Hoover letters.
Yeah, and the Colleen.
That'll be a good story for Jackson to write one day.
Oh, yeah.